When I got into policing, I was so happy to do it because I realized that it gave me an opportunity to do something that I love to do my entire life. And that is just that whole investigative process, right? And critical thinking. You know, the who, what, where, when, why, and how of anything, whether that be people or mechanics, situations, engines, whatever it is. And I loved it. So when I got doing that and they were actually paying me, I was so happy because I've always been one that, you know, I want to seek first to understand. I didn't like to just jump to conclusions and then be discovered to be wrong. That's the big thing. I didn't like to be wrong. So I always tried to figure things out by understanding them first before I formed my opinion and made a statement about it. Because I didn't want to be called out and go, stand up and go, 2 plus 3 is 6. I know this. And people are like, no, it's 5. No, it's 6. Well, let's do the math. Boom. And I'm like, oh, I'm wrong. I didn't like that. So I liked being able to find out the answer by asking questions, seek to understand, and clarify. So yesterday, I received a comment on one of my social media feeds, and a young man said, he just put out this statement saying, do not trust this man. He has a strong anti-law enforcement agenda. See this. And he put a link to a post that I had posted in Facebook yesterday concerning the investigation into the homicide of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. And my point on the entire post that I put out was that it was a good article by the news that broke down the self-defense and what self-defense means and what criteria needs to be met, the stand your ground law and what criteria needs to be met, and some different things like that. And I also made a comment at the end of my post that I wanted people to stop including the word police in there, like as if saying the police were involved in this shooting. I saw a reporter ask the president that what he thought about the shooting and that in the police shooting in Georgia. And I thought there were no police involved. Please don't include the police officers in something that they're not included in. We have a hard enough time with public trust right now as it is. They had no police officers had anything to do with that situation. It was right now, for all intents and purposes, vigilantism, okay? The fact that the one suspect had worked for a police department did not make that a police shooting. When the police got involved, charges were filed pretty quickly, all right? So I was making the point that I wanted people to stop saying police as though the police had something to do with that crime being committed, right? Well, apparently this gentleman didn't understand that, and he felt that I had anti-police sentiment. I subsequently asked him to clarify for me. I sent him a message saying, help me to understand how you perceive this to be anti-police. Because I want to understand, and I made it clear to him that I'm 100% supportive of policing, and that I've been involved in policing for close to 30 years now. I have yet to receive a response from him. A couple things. One, I completely uphold his freedom of speech. Now, I understand that the First Amendment, freedom of speech, is not guaranteeing him the right to free speech. It guarantees that the government cannot inhibit his free speech, okay? That's a different thing than person to person. He doesn't have any First Amendment rights as far as me being upset with him. But I'm not, okay? He has every right to say what he wants to say. I also, because I spent 20-some years and continue to train, but spent that putting my life on the line for the Constitution and for people to uphold their First Amendment freedom of speech. Secondly, I don't have an issue with him having a negative opinion of me. That's fine. He can do that. I'm not for everybody, right? I have strong beliefs, and I'll put them out there, and if you don't like them, that's totally fine. All right. However, I will not respect that position if he comes to it from an ignorant place. And by ignorant, I mean lack of knowledge, lack of information, lack of education. I don't mean fool or stupid or anything like that. I'm not calling him any of that. I'm saying ignorant, lacking in gaining information. So my thing is, if he has a problem with what I says, or he's not, or what I say, or he's unclear of what I said, I would expect him to direct message me and say, can you clarify this for me? Here's the way I'm seeing this. Is this accurate? Then I could dispel his worry, right? And I could explain it to him. Because the thing, what he has done is he has publicly said something that's not true. And by saying, do not trust this man in this forum, he is jeopardizing my livelihood, my ability to make a living, by putting out incorrect, just straight out wrong misinformation. Okay? And that we have to look at, that's something that we do a lot of nowadays. We seem to have this inability to seek first to understand, gain points of clarification, and then come up with our opinion. What we seem to do is enter into something with a confirmation bias. I don't like to be in that spot. I would love that young man to respond to me so that we could have sort of a dialogue. If he does, that's up to him. So, just to kind of sum it up, please, let's take the time to use our critical thinking skills, and if we don't have them, let's develop them. You can buy books, Critical Thinking, just Google it, Amazon, whatever. Learn how to think critically. Go into things with an open mind, and if I don't understand something, let me seek point of clarification. If I learn about it and still don't agree with it, fantastic. I feel very strongly about what I do. I feel very strongly about the profession of law enforcement, and to see somebody put in print that I have an anti-law enforcement agenda, no, I'm not going to stand by for that. You're going to have to explain yourselves. Hopefully this is giving you some information. Please, if you have comments, concerns, hit me up. You can do it in the comment section here. You can hit me up on my email, mneal@onyxtg.com. Go to onyxtg.com, our website. Contact me through there. All right. Hey, have a great weekend, and you know, let's just be kind to each other, right?